Holy hell, I might ought to do some personal grooming once in a while. You know, maybe I should put a mirror on the ceiling so when I look up at night, I can see myself. Like when I wake up and turn a light on, I don't look at myself very often. Holy crap, I'm looking rough. Morning, Ronnie. Ooh, I just looked at myself and it shocked me. It just occurring to me that I should probably look in the mirror more often. You know, they were invented, I don't know. I don't ever really consider myself a vain person, but damn, man. Might help to see how the rest of the world sees me. I'm overdue for a little personal grooming sessions. Ooh, it's a hot one. Forecast called for rain, like 70%, 78% by 9 o'clock. And let's see. Oh, there's a cloud. Little one. A couple of little clouds building up there. Okay. Might just be behind schedule. But anyway, it's supposed to be raining off and on today. Pretty high chances. But, you know how that is. The weatherman, you never know if he's just inaccurate or lying. But he's been pretty accurate most days. You can't trust looking at the clouds in Florida because I've seen it go from not a cloud in the sky to covered in storm in 15 minutes, especially this time of year. This time of year, the weather changes very quickly, very drastically, sometimes several times a day. Morning, Susan. Morning, Maxwell. Ooh, I got something big under the water in the cove here. It went away. I didn't get to see what it was, but I saw a big pike come through here the other day. He's still maybe the same one that comes through here periodically, but it's not very common I see them. I don't think he's like a stick around the community type of fish, like these redfish and the mangrove snappers. Like they stick around their area. Well, community school staff, thank you. What do you do? What kind of school are you the staff of? And I'm guessing you're either female or gay because a straight man probably wouldn't tell another man his eyes are pretty. Denali Montessori. Well, I'm familiar with the term Montessori. My sister actually used to run 3 Montessori schools. But I don't know what Denali is. Is that a country? Like I'm American, so forgive me if I don't recognize the name of your country or place or whatever. Storms, tornadoes. Where are you, Susan? Aren't you in Florida? Or are you up north? I forget who all here is from Florida. Oh, yeah. Wow. What are you doing having summer storms in Michigan? Oh, I know why. Um, that's that whole. We're going through a big shift in the, what do you call it? Weather patterns. See, Michigan should be getting winter storms, and Florida should be getting summer storms. And right now we got this, what they're calling the Super El Nino, which is a pattern that hasn't happened in a long time. You know, I'm convinced that every state in the entire union needs a tornado to run right over the Capitol and rip it apart, throw it into the air in pieces. Wouldn't that be a sign from God? Like, start over, motherfuckers. Like, not when they're in it, not like in the middle of session. I mean, like, just the building. Like, nobody gets hurt. Like, just like, that would be even more of a sign. That would be total proof that it was definitely, like, there's a God. I'd be like, maybe there is a God. It's either that or aliens. But definitely intelligent design happening there. Like, it's either the Asgards. You ever watch what is it, Stargate? You ever notice that the aliens that guard the humans are called Asgard? Like, they couldn't get any more creative with the name. We're like, what are we going to call these aliens? Well, they guard our ass. We'll just call them Asgards. The Asgards will save our asses. They're out there in space guarding our asses. No, but look at what's going on. Okay, normally this time of year there's a bunch of hurricanes coming off the west coast of Africa and building up as they come up toward the Caribbean. And they just round the edge of South America. They miss Brazil, and when they're heading up that way toward Cuba, that's when Florida, they come up this way from the south and hit Florida. But instead we have all these storms coming off the Pacific this time of year, hitting the west coast and going across the country. And you're having these big storms of heat and cold much further north. Like, where the cold and the hot meet this time of year is normally closer to the equator, and it's happening much further northern latitudes. And coming from the other direction, from the opposite ocean, spinning the other direction. And like we still get a little tropical storm that just grazed the coast and hit up by the panhandle. You know, but look how small it was. And look at the opposite side, what's going on in the Pacific, and you'll see why. It's because these ocean temperatures are much higher. And the Earth is trying to balance itself out. It's pulling the cold. It's actually the opposite. The heat goes toward the cold and melts it. But the overall effect is the Earth gets cooled by the melting of the ice caps until it balances out. Yeah, whenever we get hit by a hurricane, there's tornadoes are actually what do the most of the damage. But they don't call it a tornado, they call it a hurricane because it's a hurricane hits, and in the midst of that hurricane there are multiple tornadoes flinging out from the center. Every hurricane has tornadoes in them. And that's how you see those, where after the hurricane you'll see where there'll be this row of houses down here in that low area that leads out to that open area. Yeah, that's where the wind goes to the path of least resistance. That's why I'm over here tucked into a low area in a narrow space. We're in an area where there's, you know what else does a lot of damage is the flying debris. It's like debris people didn't secure before it, or debris that gets torn up by those tornadoes. And yeah, people go out thinking, yeah, this wind ain't so bad, and then a flying street sign cuts them. And it's like chop chop. You win Darwin Award. Stay inside. Yeah, random. Why are you yelling? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. I already know you're always yelling. Morning, Chad. Here, let's take a look outside. Cleaned out a lot of junk in the canoe. Here, hold on. Where is my light? I'll show you where the mine shaft has gotten to. Got my little ventilator fan in there and the stainless steel. Well, I put the struts to the side here. Bam, bam, bam. and then one at the face there, but I moved it in closer and then laid the padding back out. Did the same thing over here. I have to go around the electronics. Got my inverter here and my charge controller here. And that's my charging station for my lights and switch panels. And I'm going to move all that. But this is just going to be storage here. Long storage. What I'm going to do is divide it up into two compartments, top and bottom in the front here. So it's going to be split down the middle to where the bottom compartment is storage for someone in the front seat. And then the top compartment opens up to the back here, and you can put something long like a 2-piece fishing pole or something like that. And then maybe put a paddle storage on the other side. Stuff that can get wet and it's not a tragedy. I want the electronics up in the upper deck. So yeah, I'm going to put a long object storage cubby here. Front and back will be separate because I want the front compartment to be completely separate from the aft compartment, so that a person sitting up front, when they get up out of their bed, they're in shared space. We can each other, but when they sit down into their bed and lay down and drop a curtain, they have their own private space that's completely separate from mine. So that's the ultimate goal, is to build a bulkhead here with an opening to the side compartments on either side here, and then maybe a hatch right there or something that they can latch if they want, whatever. I still want to leave it open in the center because I need to be able to access the bilge all the way down. So that's going to have to be a hatch if anything. But that's fine. That's a whole different... Yeah, that's kind of what this is it's a berth. But believe it or not, it's actually pretty roomy here. Let me see. Okay. This is me stretched out fully. Like my head's on the pillow. So there's plenty of leg room and like room to roll over. You see, you can see the upper deck is still a mess. but yeah, it's getting there. It's the trick is to have two separate living spaces with, you know, a little privacy. So if the person in the front wants to change and, you know, change their outfit or whatever, and they happen to be female, then they got some privacy. Random, knock it off. I hate to ban you. I know you like being a borderline troll. Yeah, my white legs don't see the sun very often. They pretty much glow in the dark because I'm not a freaking bikini model. I'm a craftsman, a tradesman. And believe it or not, you don't want to be freaking, you don't want to expose a lot of skin to the sun when you're out here sailing. When you're outdoors a lot in the sun, the less you expose to the sun, the less radiation you're absorbing. And it really does fry you very easily. Like, believe it or not, look at most sailors. What do they wear? Loose fitting, breezy cotton from head to toe. Like, you don't see sailors in shorts. They're in cotton linen cloth that's breezy, got a gap in it, you know, like you see their feet in flip-flops. But those guys in Speedos in the boats, they got air conditioning down below. Yeah, man. You look at in all the old westerns. You see like the Mexican peons are all dressed in white linen, big big wide brim hats. You know, that's to keep the freaking sun off. Like, they're not stupid. All their houses made of adobe. You know, big thick adobe walls that hold the cool in and deflect the heat. They're much easier to cool. You know, we switched to making our houses out of like wood framing, and then we spend all these hundreds of thousands of dollars in freaking screws and metal straps to keep it all together from flying apart when the wind hits it. And then we spend more thousands of dollars on the freaking stuffing insulation into the walls to keep the heat out and the vapor out, and we make a vapor barrier for that, and we got to seal everything on the inside and out, and then we got to spend a bunch of money on chemicals to spray in it periodically to keep the bugs from burrowing into it. Well, the Mexicans would make a cob house out of clay and mud and hay, straw, thick walls that absorb all the solar radiation. You can bag me out, but I can't back. I thought it was what we did, huh? What the? I'm just gonna ignore you. Yeah, I like to put on like something that's loose fitting, thin, lets any kind of breeze just blows right through it. Silk's good for that if it's nice and loose fitting, but the problem is silk just holds your body heat in. You know, so like a cotton linen, a loose knitted cotton linen is really nice. Like it dries fast. You know, like those sweaters you call a drug rug? That same material but super thin. You know, but I'd prefer light colors. Just, you know, they just colored their ponchos so that they didn't look as dirty when they sit in the dirt. Like a white poncho reflects sun better, but it looks dirty all the time. Because it is. And you're like those ones with all the colors in them. You know, they reflect enough sun, but they breathe well and they don't look dirty all the time, even when they are. That's my problem as a sailor. I'm always getting these white cotton linen pants, and then, man, I go to shore and somebody needs help, and I gotta help do something that always gets it stained every single time. There's something that stains it will get spilled on it. That's the law of the universe. If I buy a brand new white shirt, it will be stained that day. I just got rid of all my winter clothes. Because on a vessel this size, with this shit going on that I got going on, the repairs I need to do, I need to get rid of everything that's not freaking absolutely necessary. Like if it ain't related to repairing the boat or my day-to-day living or like my required safety gear, fuel, water capacity, then it's got to go. If it's something like, except, obviously the first aid kit. Nah, I'm not a big fan of moisture wicking material because I find that it just means more layers, and yeah, it pulls the moisture away from your skin toward the outer shell. Like, that's a good thing, but it also tends to be a thicker fabric. Like, moisture wicking is awesome if you're in the arboreal forest, because you're, like, a lot of times you're working up a sweat even though it's cool outside, and as soon as you stop moving, then you get cold if your skin's wet. And so a moisture, yeah. But I'm in Florida, where the moisture is in the air before you move. Like, when you walk through the air, you feel like you're walking in, like, thick moisture, because you are. Yeah, I don't know, man. It'll help you feel fresher a little longer in the swampy. Like, come to think of it, I'm wearing a moisture wicking shirt right now, and it really is overly hot. I should switch to just a regular white cotton tee, and I'll feel a lot cooler. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now while y'all look at the freaking pond. Just don't touch the camera flip switch, because they might ban me for stripping, showing my nips. Like, if you come on camera with no shirt on as a guy, it's fine. But if you come on camera with a shirt on and take it off on camera, you might be accused of stripping. And some goon will inevitably say some shit. And that's really all it's about. I don't want to hear the goons talking about my sexy nipples. So, y'all can look at the still water. Anyway, Bachelor Brad, you're telling kids not to do bad drugs, so then they should do the good drugs? Are you telling kids to do drugs on my channel? That's not allowed. It sounds to me like you're encouraging kids to do drugs. You said you tell the kids don't do bad drugs. So tell us, what are the good drugs that kids are allowed to use, that kids should use? From your perspective, of course. I'm not part of the program, but I wore a Dare shirt once. So they should just do whatever drugs they feel are their preference? Is that what you're saying? Kind of like they just pick their gender according to preference? Almost like Common Core math, where they just kind of pick an answer that's somewhat close to the answer, and as long as they did the system right, it's okay. It doesn't matter if they get the answer right or not. I'm trying to get you to explain your point of view. I didn't say any of this. I'm just trying to get you to elaborate on what you said. You came in saying kids shouldn't do bad drugs. So I'm asking you, what does that mean? Oh, I know right where he's going to. He's trying to talk some shit and troll. But I'm just taking it seriously, because that's how I take things when people troll me. I take it seriously. I go, well, okay, like let's take your point of view, however far up your ass we may need to get in order to see your point of view. Let's go there. Let's all go there. Let's every one of us go right up your ass and see what is your point of view that we're trying to see here. Just so that you can see what it feels like to have everybody's head up your ass, since you enjoy having your own up there so much. I figured let's all go up there and take a look at what's so fascinating. I don't find it fascinating. I think it stinks, but I don't see what joy you get out of having everyone's head up your ass with you, or what joy you get out of having your own up there for that matter. But apparently that's where you want us all to go, so here we are. Everyone's up Bachelor Brad's ass right now, taking a good look at his lower colon. And yep, just like everyone else, it stinks. Wow, so what we've learned from this is that Bachelor Brad is indeed an ass. And his point of view is kind of shitty. It's not my idea of a good time. I'm just going where you took it, Brad. But it's no mystery why you're a bachelor. Oh, because you're insecure? You don't love yourself. How can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? Then why don't you love yourself? I don't believe you're happy. I think you're getting some type of you're getting a hormonal boost by trolling. But it's not happiness. It's something you're mistaking for happiness. Because you gotta love yourself to be happy, and you don't love yourself. If you loved yourself, you would find no joy in trolling. Yeah, it's a hormone. I can't remember the name of it. I don't mean like a sexual hormone. I mean like I'm talking as part of your endocrine system. I just don't remember the name of the hormone that's being secreted in your brain that makes you get the feeling of it. It's like a drug where it makes you feel good, but it's just like a, yeah, you're getting dopamine. Thank you, Chad. It's You're getting a dopamine from trolling, but that's not happiness. And it's not natural. What are my plans today? Well, so far I am totally accomplishing my plan. My plan for the morning was to avoid the rain and make sure that my clothes didn't get rained on, the ones that are like my shoes and stuff. And and since it didn't rain, I've accomplished that. But no, I want to go back to the front of the boat with my saw, my little hand saw, and a couple of sticks of 2x2 and set up the first struts for where the bulkhead is going to be fiberglassed in. Because what I have right now are kickers that are just like, they're just struts that are holding the deck and hull in the right shape, in the right, you know, to keep the pressure on it in the right places. But they're out of the way. All the struts I have down here are actually out of the way of where the actual bulkhead's going to go. So I need to go in the front and start building the forms for the bulkhead. And then what I'll do is I'll a lot of that's going to be just, I'll put the forms up exactly where the fiberglass needs to be, and then cover the forms in packaging tape, because the fiberglass won't stick to it. And when I put the fiberglass structure in and it's hardened and strong enough, I can just pull the wood structure out. Thank you, Chad. Took the words right out of my mouth. Now, it's interesting to me. Actually, it's not interesting. It's another perspective you have because of having your head up your ass, is like the perspective that I'm triggered from your comment. Because I'm not at all triggered. I'm just psychoanalyzing you because you asked me the question. I'm just answering you honestly. I made the comment that it's no mystery why you're a bachelor, and you said, why's that? And I said, because you don't love yourself. And I'm explaining I'm not triggered at all. I'm just explaining how I see you. Like, your actions reveal who you are. I know you find it interesting. It's the first time you've come and judged someone and found yourself wrong, while you thought you were psychoanalyzing them. You revealed a lot about yourself and realized that, how did they know that much about me? How did I completely analyze your whole existence just while you sit there shitting? And all your preconceived notions about me were totally wrong. Oh, okay. If you say so. You say you're not judging me. Oh, but whatever. It's okay, I don't mind. I don't think he's a genuine troll, actually. I think he's just a regular narcissist, regular garden variety narcissist who came in here and saw something he thought he saw and made a comment about it with a presumption of some shit that ain't real and showed his point of view. Showing us all that he has to have his head completely up in his colon in order to see enough of it to wipe it. I'm still trying to figure out how he sits on the toilet while his head's up his ass. Isn't that uncomfortable? There. Well, that's my my free psychology session this morning. My backwoods psychology. And that's all I got to offer. All other trolls will be insta-banned without the psychoanalysis. Susan, you get my sense of humor. I'm glad you get it. What am I doing here? I need to get some water at some point between all these thunderstorms and rain. At some point, I need to get to shore and get some water so I can wash dishes and cook and wash my booty tomorrow. Oh, man. Oh, I think I see the first thunderheads building up over there to the west. Let me show you. If you look right above the trees right there, that one. See, these are just cumulus, cumulostratus, and a little cirrus up there, that light wispy stuff. But over there, that looks like off in the distance, way off to the west, like Lake Okeechobee is like looking like a cumulonimbus building. That's not thunder, that's industry. I don't know, man. I might have got gypped out of work today by that weatherman. How is the hospital supposed to help you stop drinking, bro? I don't understand that. Like, Maxwell, you come in here every day complaining that your ass is bleeding. And every day I ask you how much you drank that day, and you telling me multiple beers. To the point of like drinking way more than it would take to get me shit-faced drunk. And you can't stop drinking. You're not even weaning yourself off. You're not even... And yet you still come in complaining that you're dying. And I love you, brother, but shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it, because too many of my friends have sat there slowly killing themselves on drugs and alcohol that I can't stop them from doing. And I watch them slowly die. And I don't want to see it. I don't need to hear the details, dude. You're traumatizing me with your slow killing of yourself. So stop. Just stop drinking, or stop talking about how you're dying. If you're not drinking and you're still dying, then tell me about it. It's that simple. Look, I know if I drink 4 cups of coffee, I'll bleed out my asshole too. Because I got ulcers and GI bleeding that, yeah, it's exacerbated by drinking alcohol or coffee or anything harsh going in my gut. So I stopped putting harsh shit in my gut because I don't want to die. All right, so if you want to continue slowly killing yourself just because you feel the need to stay drunk, then stop fucking telling me the gory details, man. I don't want to fucking watch you die slowly. Just do it already, or don't do it, but fucking don't tell me about it. Sorry, it's not because I don't want to hear it. It's not because I don't like you. It's exactly the opposite. It's because I do care, and I don't want to fucking watch my friends die, and there's not a fucking thing anyone can do about it but them. No, it ain't tough love, man. I ain't being tough with him, dude. I'm being weak as fuck is what I'm being. I'm proving that I've been traumatized my whole life by watching other people slowly commit suicide. And I was not able to handle it well. That's not tough love. That's me saying, I've had enough, dude. Enough is enough. I've had enough of that shit. Like, I put the dope and the alcohol out of my life because I didn't want to die. And I put all these dope users and drunks out of my life because I don't want to watch them slowly kill themselves. Because every time I watch, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing anyone can do about it but you. Yeah, a drastic life change is in order, and I think his wife's been trying to tell him that for quite some time in the nicest way possible by doing little things that he tends to resent, like taking the kids to the beach without him. Because, bro, the next step is taking the kids without him. Just period. Just taking them without him. Not to the beach, but just taking them in general. Like, goodbye. Like, get your life in order. Give me a call sometime when you got your shit together, or whatever happens. But they don't deserve to watch that either, bro. Your family don't deserve to watch you. You think your kids need to watch you slowly kill yourself? That's going to help them in any kind of way other than to, like, you don't think they'll follow your example when they get in some struggles in life? You're teaching them that that's how you cope with your problems, is get drunk. And what do you think that's the only life skill you're leaving them to cope with the problems they don't even know life is going to throw at them yet? Like, taking them to the beach is nothing. Teaching them how to cope with life's struggles is what they need from their dad. And I ain't, I'm no hypocrite, bro. I'm completely over here freaking unable to cope with life's struggles. Obviously. I'm just barely keeping myself breathing here. That's why I'm too weak to be that guy that's sitting here forming friendships with people that just want to die. Yeah, I was in the dog park yesterday, and there's this lady there that talks a lot of shit about a lot of shit. I know she's like laughing and joking, and she said some shit that just made my stomach lurch. And I don't even know how to freaking absorb. I'm just floored. Because she was talking about how she walked into some store owned by the Arabs and was just venting all kinds of shit talk about her daughter, and they overheard her and asked how much for her daughter and asked for a picture, and she gave them a picture of her daughter and was joking about, like, fuck it, they have, at least I know they got money. And I can't even respond to that. Because my first instinct is to punch her in the face. And I know that's not going to end well for me. And it's not going to help her daughter or her son. But holy fucking shit, woman. Have you ever listened to the words coming out of your own fucked up mouth? Holy fucking shit. Like, I was just floored by that. And I still haven't, I'm just like, I don't even know how to take that. Or should I call the FBI? Like, is that something I should report to the FBI? How much of a joke was that? Like, how serious was she? How old is her daughter? Like, who all is involved in this arrangement? And what the fuck do those Arabs really honestly believe they just bought a daughter? Or what? Was there money exchanged? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? In this day and age, when people in Congress are literally buying and selling and eating children, I don't think that's something that's funny to joke around about. But whatever, I'm not going to point fingers and name names, but I cannot believe that woman said that shit, and I really don't. I just need to shut up and listen around her more. Because damn, bro, what in the hell is she actually up to? Yeah, there's another lady that's kind of a little bit off the her freaking. She's kind of raunchy, but she's been hanging around this lady a lot. She's kind of new to the park, and I don't know, man, what in the hell. I just wonder what goes through the other ladies' minds in the park. Like, are they equally that fucked up? Like, show of hands, how many of you want to sell one of your kids to some Arabs? How is oxycodone supposed to help your liver? It doesn't. It actually adds more toxin to your liver. Neither helps your liver. Both of them put more tax on your liver. What helps your liver is not putting chemicals in your body. God damn, man. What? Holy shit, give your liver a break. No, oxycodone is not to help your liver, it's to numb your pain. That's the thing about recovery is you don't recover from anything without pain. That's what recovery is. Is exploring your new pain that you live with and learning how to cope with it without the drugs. That's what recovery is. it's not making pain go away, because you can't you can't you can't make you can't change the laws of physics. It's about accepting it as the new normal. It's when you feel pain, don't try to numb it if you can help it. If it's unbearable, then by all means numb it. But to a point, at some point, you have to look at it and face it and go, fuck it, that's where I'm at. And somewhere in acceptance you find bliss. Rather than fighting the pain, find that spot inside you, that place inside you wherein exists all of the universe. And explore it. It's a vast expanse, because everything is there, including the pain, but it's so spread so thin that it can't hurt you anymore, because it becomes completely a part of you. And then you won't need drugs. Now, so far, I have not been able to do that with the pain from a tooth. But, man, I deal with several herniated discs and a fractured vertebrae. And, like many bones in my body that have been fractured and grown back crooked and never set right. I've had many injuries that I didn't go to a hospital. Like, it was handled on scene. Just eggshell, folks. If you saw that flinging out, I don't. I throw it away from the boat. The gators don't go after it. The catfish will eventually chomp it. But it's just calcium, so it'll just go back into the. It's inert calcium. If anything, might absorb some kind of harmful things in the environment. I keep all my cigarette butts and all that stuff goes to shore, all my freaking trash. And if I have any meat scraps, I got to make sure there's no alligators around, because it's very important, especially in the residential areas, that alligators and crocs and such creatures never get any association with humans being a source of food. You got kids that kayak in the neighborhood, and if the gators start looking at them as a source of food, it becomes a big problem. You're not doing the gators a favor. Because the people then hunt the gator down Once the gator takes out a person, then the people go kill the gator. And that's why the alligators and crocodiles in America are more docile than the ones in Australia and Africa and Asia, because when something kills our kids, we go kill it. and most of its kind. If there's any left, we put it in a zoo. The animals in this country know not to fuck with people. Like, they're like, hey, boo boo, what do you say we go get a picnic basket? And you know, Boo Boo says, oh, Yogi, you know the ranger wouldn't like that. They come sneak your food and run away. No, they maul people when people. Don't get me wrong. The animals here will maul you if you're acting like prey. The predator will attack you. That first fried egg went in the pan way too soon. It wasn't hot enough yet. It's okay, I got 2 more. Eggs fried in organic coconut oil. Salt, pepper, garlic, salt, potassium chloride, sodium chloride, you know, there just isn't enough Pisconix baskets to steal. Well, Maxwell, let me tell you the secret. You take your nugs, right? And you grind them up. And the first thing you want to do, you want to put them on a cookie sheet and dry them out a little bit. Like in a sunny window or somewhere where they get dried without cooking them. Okay, you don't want to release any of the materials from it. You just want all the moisture out of it until it's so dry that it's crumbly in your hand. When you like take a nug and you roll it in your fingers, it just crumbles because it's super dry. Okay, that's what you're looking for. Okay, when you get it like that, then you put it in some whole fat butter, the real stuff, not the fake stuff. Put it in some real fatty butter. Melt the butter and mix it in a tub of butter. And you let it soak in the fridge. Just let it sit in the fridge overnight. Right? Then you take it out, let it thaw on the counter. And where the recipe calls for butter, you use your ganja butter. And trust me, that's the key to making it work, is making sure it's fully dried before cooking with it. That's the key. And that's because the oils in it do not become active until they're fully dry. And when you get them moist sticky buds and you put them in a pipe and you light them, they get dried by the fire as you light it. But when you put it in a cookie dough, it doesn't fully dry and therefore doesn't get fully activated. So the key to edibles is activating it before cooking with it. And then the reason to put it into the butter is because the fats absorb it, because it's fat soluble, not water soluble. So it absorbs into the fat in the butter, and that extracts it, the most active chemicals out of it from the plant into the butter fat. And that's a fat that your body absorbs faster. Trust me, I'm a freaking 53-year-old hippie that's been fucking around with that shit since I was a kid. I've sat with some of the most famous people that know all that. I've sat with Ed Rosenthal and picked his brain for hours and hours, smoking big spliffs and just rolling till the fingers ache. I'm not even kidding. I've smoked spliffs with some famous musicians and famous actors, and I'm not gonna name names and shit, but like hell, some of them I recognized from TV and shit. Didn't know their name, but I just recognized their face, you know. But yeah, I've also gone to some growers conventions up in Colorado and stuff too, Oregon, Northern California. I've been to a lot of growers places there, and you learn tricks along the way. Josh. I'm gonna tell you something. That wherever you are, whoever you got your dragon's breath from, that's just a name. That's just some arbitrary name they gave that strain. And you can get a piece of the same strain and send it across the country to a different grower, and they grow from the same freaking genetics and produce a crappy product. And then I've seen people that took a crappy genetics from a crappy plant and grew an awesome product. And so, like, it really, it's just a name somebody gave it. And unless you're getting it from the same person, then it's not going to have the same effect. Unless they got the same formula and the same environment and the exact same conditions. Tell me you tested the cannabinoids and what percentage they came out before it was dry. And then tell me what percentage you read on all the cannabinoids after it was dry. And then tell me how it affected you. Because, man, I've smoked some pretty legendary shit. I've smoked some shit that was so legendary that growers from all over the world flew to Colorado to sample it before the original grower ran out. Like they were waiting in line to get a gram of it. But let me tell you what, you ain't allowed to smoke it there, because you won't make it. Like the place would be packed with people just vegetating. Like the shit will. It's like I tried it when I was ready to nod off for the night, and feel nothing. And man, I melted into the floor. But it's not something I would want for my daily. Like, not if I got to function in any capacity. Like, I don't want it that good. All right, Max, take care of yourself. One of my fans shut off. It's the cordless, of course. Of course. Go ahead and plug that baby in, get it charging for later. That one I can run and charge while it's running. It's a good fan. That little one in the back, I have to leave it off while it's charging or it overheats. Battery management system can't handle it running and charging. Like maybe if I fully charge it and then try running it with it plugged in at the top end of the battery, I don't know how that would do. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe on the low setting it might be alright. I might try it sometime under close watch and just keep checking the temperature on it. I think in these cabinets what I'm going to do is at the end, in the front and back, I'm going to install some computer fans. 12 volt brushless fans, that are low wattage but high volume, just made for cooling a desktop computer. Put a couple on each end and it'll create a nice draft cool air that comes from below the decks where it stays cool, kind of like a geothermal cooling, more like a hydrothermal cooling, because it's below the water line, I actually want to build some liquid heat exchangers, run glycol through one side, through the cold side of or the hot side of a Peltier unit, and run that into a coil or run raw water through it to cool it from under the boat, or just have a coil in the water that it exchanges from. I don't know. Couple little water pumps cycling, like 12 volt water pumps, like fish aquarium size, cycling liquid coolant through a couple of Peltier units. So let's say a Peltier unit's running 60 watts each. That's 120 watts for 2 units. And then I'm probably going to burn another 50 watts with a couple of water pumps and a couple watts with fans. So for under 300 watts, I can make this boat at least 30-40 degrees cooler than the ambient air around. Just be a nice cool place. It's already cooler. I mean, if I think about it, as long as I do my hot side, my heat sink side in the areas of the boat that are shaded, and then I'm gonna get much more efficient cooling. Well, the cooling does help with the humidity too. But also, I didn't show you how I built this duct here. And it's no big deal because like I'm rebuilding it with sheet metal. And then I'm gonna insulate the outside. But first I gotta build it. This was just a little poster board demonstration with poster board and aluminum tape to see how it would work. And it worked well enough to build. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have a little cooler compartment, and when it gets cold, it's gonna spill over cold air down into the cockpit down here. And that way, it won't be like a refrigerator cold, but it'll be cool enough to have like some eggs last a week. Eggs or cheese or something like that. Like, it's definitely not gonna make ice. But it will cool some cold drinks. So having cold drinks and a little cold air blowing into the cabin for a couple 100 watts, I think that's doable. When my roof is going to hold 400 watts of power eventually. And right now, the problem is right now, I'm not really worried about it. Right now I got this freaking bulkhead I got to build. And like, the fans are fine. Between the fans and the shade from the tarps, I'm cool enough. And then the bug netting at night, that helps quite a bit. I just made a cool compartment in the front just by throwing insulating foam padding over the front compartment, so it traps the cold air in at night and keeps it in there all day. And it's that lower compartment is halfway in the water and surrounded by fiberglass, so it's actually pretty good thermal barrier. Now, if you have a tarp above you making shade, or anything above you making shade that allows a breezeway of air to pass through under it and above you, then everything below that is going to be 30 degrees cooler than what's in the open sun. And then about 20 degrees cooler than the shade above you. Like, if I lift my head up near the roof here, my head will start getting hot. But that breeze between me and my head up there, between me and the ceiling, is creating a huge temperature differential. And then if I'm laying down below here, it's another temperature differential because of the water around me keeping the fiberglass I'm sitting in at a lower temperature all day. I'll be honest though, I would rather be up in, say, Lithia Springs, anchored up just outside the springs where the water's all steaming in the winter, and that water right now is 72 degrees and it's fresh water, and if the closer you get to the spring, the cleaner it is. If there's no one swimming in it and you're at the mouth of the spring, That's some of the cleanest water you can ever experience. Coming right out of the mouth of the spring. 72 degrees year round. And in the summer when it's 80 plus, that 72 feels nice and refreshing. And in the winter when it's below 60, that feels like a spa. And when it gets below 40, it feels like a hot tub. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind spending some time summers and winters at the springs. You also see a lot more alligators near the springs for the same reasons. They like it there as much as we do. You know, only in Florida Springs do you see kids swimming around with an alligator or two in the water, swimming around, and nobody's bothering anybody. And you might see a kid or two on a log with an alligator sitting there on the log next to them drying off, just doing the same thing the kids are doing. Like neither of them bothering each other. They're just like, might as well be turtles. Same thing. But all that gets sour as soon as some idiot starts feeding gators. Then all of a sudden the kids can't play with those gators anymore. I used to go swim in a spring that had wild otters living in it. And there was an owl that hung around that area and hunted in that area a long time ago. Man, that was like early 90s. Nobody's allowed to go to that spring anymore. From what I hear, they closed it. I think the owners of the property tried to, like, they wanted people to be allowed to go there and visit the spring, but they wanted to keep it private property. And somebody gets hurt there, and all of a sudden they're not allowed to have anybody. They gotta fence it off and all that shit. It's either give up their property to the public or provide 24-hour security for the rest of the existence of that land. So yeah, you know how that goes. Kind of one bad apple ruined it for everybody kind of situation. So nobody goes to that spring anymore. But yeah, no, there's still a lot of other springs in Florida. I'm just talking about a private one. And I'm not going to mention the name of the spring because it's a forbidden place now. But it is now Kinjite, as they say in Japan. Forbidden spring. Well, that means forbidden subject, actually, but it's a forbidden spring. But I used to go there, swim all the time, and there was wild otters that would come and want to play with you. They were so playful. But, you know, I just kept my distance. I let them do their thing. They did their thing, but they always wanted me to come play with them. They couldn't understand why I wouldn't run up the hill and slide down the mudslide with them. like, like, like this is so much fun. You got to try it. Yeah, it's like I could almost understand them beckoning me to come slide down the mudslide with them. And I just couldn't make them understand. I'm too big for your little otter-sized mudslide. If you guys would make it a little bigger, I might slide down it. I don't have a coat of fur protecting my ass from the freaking the the branches sticking out of the ground either. The roots in the ground. Oh, but they used to love playing on the little mudslide, sliding down into the spring, into the river. Man, I've seen some monster fish in that spring too. I'm telling you, I was in an area where it was like waist deep and maybe 3, 4 feet wide at the most. And this massive, I thought it was a big freaking dragon head coming at me underwater. And it went by me near the shore as close as it could, and it passed by, and I realized that the tail was still not visible. It was still coming and going at the same time. Like the thing was like out of sight. The head was past me out of sight, and the tail was still not in sight yet. It was this big ass garfish going by, looking like a big, giant, scary sea serpent looking thing, man. Dang, that thing looked like a monster. I guess the word for it is prehistoric. Like, nah, I don't think I'm ever gonna go gar fishing. Just doesn't seem like something I want to catch. The fish might not see the fun in that joke. Hello, Christine. Let's see what I'm about to have for breakfast. Eggs fried in coconut oil, salt and pepper, and some white cheddar. Because don't forget the cheese. Put a little garlic salt there. I mean, a little garlic powder. It's already got salt. Y'all enjoy the view while I eat. Okay, that's freaking awesome, but it's still too hot. Not putting them on a plate because it's just me here, and then there's one more thing I gotta wash. Okay, somebody asked me earlier what was my goal for today. I do have a goal. I need to get I need to at least get water. I think I got enough groceries to get through a night. I bust into some canned and boxed food for the night. It won't be the men's favorite meal, but I got ramen and I got chili and mac and cheese. So I can do some chili mac. I got these eggs and cheese for breakfast. I can do ramen for lunch and chili mac for dinner. And then some coffee in the morning. Maybe a little freaking rooibos tea tonight. And I'll be good. Oh yeah. I got oatmeal for breakfast too. I didn't even think about that. I know a lot of you think, ooh. Like the younger folks will go, yuck, oatmeal. And then the older folks will go, that'll work. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That oatmeal is not just to fill your gut, it's to clear your gut. When you spend a while eating some high protein, high fat, high cholesterol food like this, it's really good for your health to chase it the next day with some whole grains. And I don't mean like instant oatmeal. I mean some whole grain oatmeal. It's not over processed. Just rolled oats. It gives you a lot of vitamin B6 and vitamin B12, which gives you an energy boost without the come down like of an energy drink or coffee. And it also clears clogged arteries of cholesterol. And it also clears your guts of blockage. It causes things like diverticulitis. You get blockage for, especially like if you eat a lot of bread. If you eat fatty stuff and bread, it causes, and cheeses, hard cheeses, fatty meats and bread cause blockage in your gut. But they may have the carbs and proteins you really need, but it's that whole grain oats, something like that, you get in fibers that push all that out and clear it out so you don't get diseased from it. You don't want to leave stuff sitting in your gut rotting. So it's not really necessarily don't eat this stuff, it's bad for you. It's more like eat this, but after you eat some of that, eat some of this to, resolve this, and also do that for you. And like you need to get a good balance, but it's about eating it in the right timing. You eat a heavy steak, you get that heavy lump feeling in your gut. Try drinking some whole milk. Believe it or not, the fat in milk fat cuts through the grease in meat fat. Try it sometime and tell me that didn't work better than eating a Malox or drinking some Pepto-Bismol. I swear to God, drink not the 2%, I'm talking the whole milk. Which isn't really whole milk. It's funny, what they call skim milk is actually, or whole milk is actually skimmed. I took the cream out. So they've already taken the heavy fat out of the milk when you get it with the red cap. When it says whole milk, it's not really whole milk. They've already taken the butter fat out of it. And the fats that are left, believe it or not, help dissolve other fats. Sort of like a petroleum-based penetrant oil breaks down petroleum and oil and grease. So what you're finding out is there are good fats and there are bad fats. And there's good cholesterols and bad cholesterols. It's not like we just tend to group it all into one and say, oh, it's all bad. And that's so not true. They've been lying to us about that. Especially men, they tell you to stay away from cholesterol. Don't believe that. Your body needs cholesterol to produce testosterone. You'll become effeminate if you don't get enough cholesterol. And mamas, if you don't eat enough fat while you're pregnant with a baby, your baby can't produce a full-size brain because it takes an immense amount of fat to produce a human brain. Yeah, if I eat something real fatty, man, I'm having a big salad the next day. Well, you don't want to eat fresh salad these days because you don't know if it's not full of cyanobacteria that you can't wash off or bleach off. Because apparently some fucks out there picking vegetables can't wipe their ass and wash their hands in the same place. And now we're all shitting our guts out. So maybe it's like you eat some canned fruits until this shit gets resolved. Or you get your own vegetable garden growing. I think that's a signal for everybody in America to start growing their own vegetables. If you can't eat the vegetables in the grocery store without getting cyanobacteria, then the government should have no right to tell you you can't grow a vegetable garden in your front yard until they resolve that shit. And even after they resolve it, it's just like, dude, how can you trust our system to feed us? We have to start figuring out how to feed ourselves so that we're not getting killed with bacteria and poisons and shit. Because apparently the FDA isn't protecting us. Like, they're just, I don't know, just making fucking tons of money off bribery. But they're not protecting us from getting poisoned. It's like they're just keeping us from growing our own food. Oh no, you don't have to drink to have fatty liver. That's that good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Do you eat whole grains, and do you exercise regularly? And do you eat enough natural fiber? Because if that's your habit, if you get plenty of exercise and you eat whole grains in the mornings and you get plenty of fiber, then you should be clearing yourself of excess fat. You know, habit and diet is 90% of your health. And your gut is the major, biggest proportion of your body's, like, immunity is in your gut. Your immunity to disease and stuff. Like, that all starts in your gut. If you don't know what's going on in your gut, you might want to do a few days where you eat nothing but like pure unprocessed sauerkraut type um, probiotics, like unsweetened yogurt. Just take a day or two of just cleansing of anything except, like, okay, anything with vinegar in it, like sauerkraut and stuff like that, that's gonna purge your guts. All right, and then you're gonna rinse it, add water, let that sink, and then follow it with something probiotic with the proper bacteria, lactobacillus and L-casei and acidophilus, bifidus vulgaris, bifidus regularis, all the good bacteria. Flood your system with those. Let that sink in. And then flood a little sugar, believe it or not, a little sugar, something sweet behind it. After that bacteria sets in, give it plenty of food via sugar. Will help it grow, but not so much. I don't mean like eat a bunch of sugar, because you don't want to overdo it, because then you're helping like candida and like other bacteria grow that you don't want. It's just kind of like giving your freshly planted flowers a little fertilizer, but you don't want to fertilize all the weeds. I think we got a turtle over here visiting. Let's see if I can catch him on camera. He's right there ahead of the wood pile. Just his little head sticking up. And he just went under. See that little squirrel right there? That's a turtle. He got camera shy. Dang it. I think that's all we're going to see of him. Because they come up, they'll relax, look around. It's like up periscope, and then they go back down. They're like a submarine. They don't like to stay up for long. The same place. They don't like to resurface in the same place twice. Yeah. A lot of fruits, most fruits have a lot of fiber in them too, like grapes and strawberries and stuff. But yeah, celery has a lot of fiber. If you like celery stalks and stuff like that, that's a good gut purging. Man, you eat a bunch of celery in a salad and freaking mixed lettuce and oh, some wild lettuce, dandelion leaves. Man, get one of those all included salads of all the different leaves that you can eat, and that'll push all the rot out of your guts. And don't put a bunch of dressing on it like thick, milky or cheesy dressing. Put something like a light vinaigrette dressing. That also helps purge the gut with the vinegar. But you're not like dousing it with a bunch of oil. Vinaigrette has oil in it too, but don't use a bunch. Just enough. It's just a food lube, so it's not harsh going through your guts. And if you got bleeding going on, like you're seeing some fresh red coming out of you, if you got any of that going on, you need to stop drinking coffee and anything acidic and caustic. Stop eating tomato juice and sauces and drink licorice root tea or something with licorice root in it every morning instead of coffee. And you'll see that go away. You'll feel your guts heal. Well, if you have herniated discs, listen closely. I don't know if they have a device that hooks on a door or the door frame, and it's got a couple pulleys on it with a little handheld cotton rope, attached handle, and a little lock on it, and a chin strap that goes around the back of your head and velcros around your chin and around your skull, leaves room for your ear hole, and it has a metal rig at the top that you hook to that pulley rope, and you sit in your chair while you're sipping your coffee and reading your morning paper, and this sling holds all of your spinal column in alignment by pulling your body weight off of it. And it's self-adjusting because you set the tension yourself. And instead of like those inverted chairs you get into that lock your ankles in and then you flip upside down, that shit, the problem with that is the blood goes to your head and you can only stay that way for so long before you get a headache. Okay? You need to be upright. And you need to be able to separate your discs with enough pressure with just your body weight taken off of it, but without so much that it hurts. You don't want to put yourself on a stretcher table, but you need to also be able to relax into that position. This device is under $20 on Amazon, and I'm telling you, look up traction device on Amazon and find the little head sling that hangs from a doorway with it looks really super simple, but trust me, you will not regret getting that thing in your home and using it. Because without that, I would not be able to walk right now. It's just not practical. Those inverted tables, they take up so much space, and and then, people, if you can't do a sit-up and it's not balanced right, you get stuck upside down and there's no one to help you flip back upright. You better have it adjusted right when you lay back in that seat, or you end up upside down until someone comes to your rescue. You need to have it so well balanced that when you put your hands above your head, you lay back, and when you put your hands down to your side, you stand up, so that you don't have to do a sit-up, because remember, your back is injured and you might not be able to do a sit-up. So that that inverted table really does have some major drawbacks to them. Whereas the overhead device that hangs in a doorway, it's lightweight, it's super simple, super cheap, very self-adjusting. Like, you have total control over all the pressure at all times, and it doesn't choke you. If you put it around your head right, it doesn't choke you. You know, if you put it on and put pressure and it's choking you, you look at the instructions, you did it wrong. Because it's specifically designed to wrap and lift you by your skull without choking you or hurting you. Yeah, the inverted boots, that's another one. Those, yeah, you can do that if you can curl your body weight and invert yourself. You know, not every injured person can do that. You know, like, a lot of those devices need someone there to help you, and not everybody has someone there. And also, a lot of those devices are very expensive to either have, make, or install. Like, they can be expensive. I'm talking about a cheap, I found one for $12 or $15 one time on Amazon. Like, they're under 20 bucks on Amazon all day long. And it's just a cloth and Velcro head sling with 2 steel bars in the top hem and a pulley system with a hook on it and handle. And what I did is I took the head sling and rigged my own pulley, because I was on a sailboat, and I just hooked it to the mast and had the line drop down into the boat, and just I would hang it by the halyard of my boat. But since you're not on a sailboat, I'm assuming, then, you know, use a doorway and use the rigging that comes with the rig. Yeah, I do that. There's one direction I can turn and it feels good, and the other direction I turn and it freaking severe pain. So I find out which one it is, and every once in a while I do that same stretch. Lay on your back, lift a leg, turn to the side. But I mean, before it got this bad, I used to do yoga and a little bit, you know, and that helped. Like, also a lot of the personal defense lessons included a lot of stretching and like healing. You know, combat and first aid lessons kind of go hand in hand. Same with extreme sports. Like if you hang around the soccer field all the time, where there's always soccer tournaments going on, you're gonna learn how to deal with a dislocated knee, because you're gonna watch it done on scene. You're gonna see it at some point. Somebody's gonna get their knee so dislocated that someone on the spot is gonna relocate it. Like, and that's because in soccer tournaments, if you ever watched a full-on soccer tournament with multiple teams play, you don't see one happen from start to finish without at least somebody getting their knee scissored out of joint. Yeah, the pinched nerve in the neck, that sling I just recommended is the best way to deal with that. The traction device that hangs overhead that you control is a really good way to get, because it allows you, when you pull the body weight from the top of your spine off of your spine, the spine naturally just realigns. And the problem is getting a realignment when your spine is compressed, like you don't have time for it to heal and knit back into that straight alignment. And when you decompress it from overhead like that with the sling, it allows you to sit comfortably long enough. What you need to do is align it by relaxing. What you do is take the tension off of it till you no longer feel that nerve being pinched and you're still comfortable. And then you relax your muscles and your spine will naturally realign. And then you need to stay there in that position for like 2 hours, at least an hour, to let the cartilage and bone re-knit in that straight alignment. And keep doing sessions like that. See, my spine fracture was in my early 20s, and I'm 53 now. So I have without doing the math, a pretty close number of years of scar tissue in my spine and spinal column and associated tissues. And the associated muscle. What happens, your muscles, when your spine gets so misaligned that it's close to possibly severing it, the muscles around it lock to prevent it from being to go any further. And they won't allow you to move that way anymore. Like it'll lock the whole area around those several vertebrae in that location. And you'll be stuck there in that position. All right, I gotta answer a phone call. I'll see y'all next time. Well, that's all right. I'm just rambling anyway.